Okay. The complaint. The Interpol appoints Emirates General was accused of torture as a president. Amin Nasser Razi, United Arab Emirates, elect despite of concern about human rights group. And a general from the UAE accused of complicity in tortures has been elected as a president as international policing agency Interpol in the teeth of fierce objections from the human rights group. Majani Amin Nasser Razi victory represents a boost growing diplomatic clout in UAE, where he was appointed Inspector General of the Interior Ministry 2015, overseeing its prison and the policies. Complaints of the torture were feared against him in recent months in France or Turkey, which is hosting Interpol General Assembly in Istanbul this week. One of the complainants, the British national Matthew Hedges, say he was detained and tortured between May and November 2018 in UAE after being arrested of a false charge espionage during the study trip. On Thursday, he described Razi victory as a disgrace. This is a sad day for the international justice, global policy. Hedge said, I don't know how the Interpol members who voted for Razi don't feel embarrassed about the choice they made. What this will actually mean for the reputation of this organization. The UAE has said Hedges was not subject to any physical or psychological mistreatment during his detention. Another complaint, Sudanese-born British citizen Ali Asa Ahmad was detained in 2019 while being accosted by the security officers wearing the Qatar football shirts. It's really terrible that he has been given this honor. He said the UAE will use this to make the world think they are good at policy, but I will always know the truth. The scar I have on my body which UAE police left on will always know the truth. Razi defeated Brittany Czech Republic police officer who had warned before the vote that it was test of credibility and integrity of the organization. After 3 rounds of the voting, Razi received 68. Oh, he voted, he bribed, of course. Razi have to, oh my God. Razi received 68%. It's fake. It's fake vote. They are fake vote. They bribed. They use money for doing this. By member countries, Interpol said of the notarized election process, no country is required to reveal how it votes. The human rights defender reacted. The Razi victory was alarm. This election represents the beginning of the dangerous of Allah. Was authoritarian regime now able to dictate international policy? Said Saeed Amin Awad Daily, director of the Bahrain Institute for the Right Democracies. No one is safe from the abuse of Interpol authoritarian regime. Oh, Interpol has power to issue red notice, call one country for the arrest individual in another country. Interpol has often accused allowing red notice to use by the autocratic government pursue the political vendettas, track down the, oh my God, Nahum Hansi, head of the what is it? ALQST for the human rights, which is campaign against abuse Saudi Arabia. Brazil elections sent chilling messages that Interpol has abandoned human rights committees. The rising feel that the existing concerned body agency. Wow. U.S. Senator Rogers last week said Interpol have become a tool of the hands, disposed crook who seek to punish dissident political opponents in the efforts to turn other countries' law enforcement against the rule of the law. Anwar Gargash, former UAE Ministry of State of Foreign Affairs, who now advised the country president, dismissed this accusation against Razi as an organized and intense smear and defamation campaign, which the election had now crashed on the rock of the truth. So the UAE has been generous founders Interpol donate 54 billion in British pound, 40 millions in 2017, almost equivalents required contributions of the organization. 195 member countries, which is amount to the 68 in 2019, gave that had pledged give about the 10 million, approximately 7% of organization total annual budget. Sir David Cavalier-Smith, the former Director of Public Prosecutions for England and Wales, issued a report April including the UAE was seeking to improperly influence Interpol through the funding other mechanisms. Razi had overseen the increasing crackdown the descendant continued torture, abuse criminal justice system in the Emirati. In another complaint against the Razi Royal for the Gulf Center of Human Rights, accused the general of act torturous barbarian committees against the government criticals. Amin Mansour William, a human rights lawyer, was filed a complaint. The great international institutions need to have the head of people endowed with integrity, prohibits beyond all suspicions. The elections, General al-Razis have to ban bandits is great bro. They are not capabilities of Interpol, none of the complaint. They work with China, communist, in any formal proceeding against the general. Okay, be it shop organization criteria, new code conduct is being introduced for executive election and increased member of country contribution. After his win, the Razi treat as he would build a more transparent. He's liar and the decisive organization work with ensure safety. It's joke. The accusation against him, the UAE. UAE has become one of the safest countries in the world. No, he's corruptions. A spokesperson. This system is against the entirely royal family in UAE. The UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs International Corporation said Razi strongly believes that the abuse, the mistreatment of people by the police, intolerant responding questions. Razi fuck up, interpret him. Oh, he's not qualified. We have small favor to ask 10 of a million have. Guardian Impact journalist published 200 years ago, turning into this crisis.